Hi guys, it's Kieran from Red Devil Weekly and we are back once again to preview another Manchester United match. Before we get into it, as always, please do make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to this channel as well if you are new around here, and make sure if you're watching as a video, because I know that some of you guys do, make sure you leave your thoughts and predictions in the comment section down below. As always, I read every single comment, so if you do want to get involved, make sure you do get involved in the comment section down below. But if you're watching live, thank you very much. Make sure you do get your thoughts in the live chat and we'll be addressing them throughout the stream as usual. And yeah, Sheffield United, good afternoon. A few people joined. Welcome United Base. Welcome Matthew Coyle. Thanks for joining. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. I mean, it's a good place to start actually, because obviously this is earlier than usual. Usually I'll be going live at around 9 o'clock, but it's the first midweek games of the Christmas schedule. And so I don't really want to go live during those games. I feel like most people are going to be watching all the games tonight. Arsenal playing especially, and the big one, Spurs versus Liverpool. So a lot of people are going to be watching that. Other way around, Liverpool versus Spurs. But realistically, does it matter? No, it doesn't. But ultimately, you know, everyone's going to be watching those games. They don't want to be watching this. So I thought I'd do it a bit earlier for you guys. And also, it means there's more time between this being uploaded and the game as well, so you guys can enjoy this and get your teeth sunk into it. Sifo, don't even chat to me about Europa League, mate. Don't even chat to me about Europa League. You're in 15th place, but thanks for joining, Sifo, anyway. Appreciate it. Brother Game says, yeehaw. Thanks for joining anyway, my friend. Arsenal flying, says Matthew. Arsenal flying. They are flying. They're going down. Like, it's Mayday for Arsenal. But yeah, ultimately, I'm going to leave that comment up there. We'll leave it up there for a minute just to let it sit with everyone. And we'll just carry on with the preview. So Sheffield United, obviously, they sit bottom of the table. Haven't won a game this season. 1 point out of 12. Their last result was a 3-0 defeat to Southampton. Southampton are a decent side. There's actually not necessarily too much... There's not necessarily too much shame in being beaten by Southampton 3-0. They are a decent side this year. They're in the top 4. I think they're 3rd this year. So there's no shame really in being beaten by Southampton. But it's their other games that you have to look at. West Brom beat them. Fulham drew with them. I mean, Fulham are terrible. They started to pick up recently, but they drew with Fulham when Fulham were in a really, really bad place. So that just shows where Sheffield are. They lost the... whatever derby that is where they play Leeds 1-0, which actually isn't a bad result considering Leeds were doing quite well at that point. And they just haven't won a game all year, which kind of suggests that going into this one, it's the perfect time for them to pick up a result when United need it most. So I would not be surprised. Would not be surprised at all. Brother Games says Sheffield United not won all season. United won their last 9 away games. Everyone above us dropped points. Sheffield United 2, Man United 1. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I'm not going to lie. I'm not actually confident going into this game, which is weird because if you look at where both teams are on the table, Man United fans should be absolutely buzzing going into this sort of game. It's a perfect game to, make it 10 wins consecutive in the Premier League away from home and to, gain points on the teams above us. It seems absolutely perfect. But when it seems so perfect, that is when we end up cocking up, to coin a phrase. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if we shat the bed tomorrow. I would not be surprised whatsoever. I hope we don't. And I've seen a few people saying it's not like it was in the last 3 seasons where we have shat the bed whenever we've got any chance of closing the gap. But I do just think that it'll be another, it's a massive, massive chance. The fact that Chelsea have dropped points, one off Spurs or Liverpool or both potentially are going to drop points tonight as well when they play each other. So, it's a massive, massive game, a massive, massive opportunity for us tomorrow. And you couldn't have asked for really a better fixture, especially considering the fact that we're better away from home than we actually are at home. So it is, set up perfectly for us. But every time it seems to be set up perfectly, always goes wrong. But I hope we're wrong. I hope we're all wrong. I hope our kind of skepticism and our worries go away very early. I think an early goal will do the trick for us, because if we get an early goal, I think Sheffield United heads will drop, and it'll be very, very hard to come back from that. They'll have to show a lot of character, because obviously they're not showing that much character right now. United Base as well, thanks for joining. He says Sheffield will turn into prime Barca against us. I've seen the memes on Twitter, to be fair. I've seen the memes on Twitter. I wouldn't be surprised, mate, honestly. I mean, I mean, they scored 3 against us last time. One of them arguably shouldn't have counted, but even though they scored 3 against us, we were able to score 3 as well. So we know their defence is shaky. And every time we played Sheffield, even in the game at Old Trafford, we beat them 3-0. So Sheffield United's defence is shaky. They're definitely there to be got at. And I think that is going to play to our advantage in the end, that even if we do concede, we should have enough to, win that game 2-3-1. And obviously everything on paper is suggesting that we're going to win this game comfortably. But as I said, and as you guys have been saying, it's not going to be that simple. It just isn't going to be that simple. Raymond, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for joining, Raymond. Appreciate it, man. Hope you're doing good in this Christmas period. Sifo says, against your defence, every team is prime Barcelona. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, to be fair. But what it seems to me when we play is when our defence is on form, we usually keep a clean sheet. When our defence isn't on form, we usually concede 2 or 3, and all of the goals we concede are always defensive mistakes. We never just concede goals which are just genuinely good goals. We have to concede from, just aimless balls into the box which get deflected to the back post, or, poor marking. We never just concede a really well put together goal that you just have to hold your hands up and say, you know what, fair play. You scored that goal, you couldn't do much about it. We never concede those goals. The goals we always concede are just absolute shambolic. And it's so frustrating as a United fan, especially when some days you have a really good defensive performance. Like, for example, against Man City, thought we were decent defensively. I thought Mcguire, Lindelof, all of them had a good game. And it was just frustrating, the idea that we can do that against City, who are one of the best attacks in the country, and then against Leipzig defensively, where they just have to cross the ball in 3 times, and they've scored 3 goals and knocked us out. It's really frustrating, really frustrating, and we need to start to build consistency, because I think going forward we're now starting to see a consistency in terms of chance creation. Before, we weren't creating enough chances. We were making it very, very difficult for ourselves. But now, we are. Oh, it might be kind of bugging a little bit. By the way, I think my face is freezing a little bit. I do apologise about that. Nothing much I can do about that. But hopefully you can still hear me. But yeah, all I was going to say is basically we need that consistency in the defence. We need a consistency in the defence, big time. United basis, we only turn up against the big teams, mate. So pipe down. Yeah, listen, Arsenal fans cannot talk right now. I'm sorry, Sifo. I love you. I love the fact you turn up to the streams. But Arsenal fans cannot talk right now. It's time for you to be quiet, especially going into a game against Southampton. I mean, you shouldn't be talking. If I was an Arsenal fan, I would just not speak whatsoever. Especially the fact you're 15th, and every game you're the underdogs now. Pretty well every game you go into, you are the underdogs. It's tough times, man. Tough times at Arsenal. I'm telling you. But yeah, it's a bit about Sheffield. Obviously, as you know, they're bottom of the table. I think most people are aware of that. They're just not doing good. They're not doing good at the moment. Not much more that can be said. I think a few bits of injury news. Ollie McBurney is a doubt, and hopefully he doesn't play, because he seems to be the guy that always undoes us when he plays against us. I think McGoldrick's fit, but obviously he's not really in good form right now. And he hasn't really been in good form when he's played. Sander Berge, I think, will play, and he's actually been linked to Manchester United. I've seen a few people saying that we should go for Sander Berge in January, which, I don't know, let me know your thoughts. But for me, I feel like probably midfielders right now isn't the position we need more players in, to be honest. I feel like defenders is what we need to be looking at the most. But we'll see. We'll see what Ollie does. I think he will want more defenders. Upamecano, of course, being the main attraction. Kieran Trippier as well. I've heard his name being bandied about a little bit. So we'll see. I think January will be one of those transfer windows where we see a lot of rumours, but I don't think anything major is going to happen, especially after all the stuff that happened in the summer transfer window towards the end. I just feel like we're not going to go all out, especially when we've, had that kind of onslaught towards the end. I feel like the owners, Edward with the Glazers, all that, they're going to just be happy with that. And probably in January, they're going to say, you know what, due to the situation, we're not going to sign any players, which will be a bit frustrating, because as Man United fans, we know we need more players. And I think we all have that confidence that if we were to get another defender, get a really strong, solidified backline, we could go for the title. We could, potentially challenge, or at least get closer to Man City and Liverpool, which is what we set out to do at the start of this season. But I do think they'll look to be quite conservative in January, and I don't think they will go for the players that we want, which is annoying. It's annoying, but I think that'll be the case. But yeah, Sheffield, they don't really have that much to worry about, as the table suggests. Really, we talked about most of the players that are going to be the problem areas for us. I think the few players that have left Sheffield, obviously Dean Henderson, our goalkeeper now, I think he made a big difference for them because he produced some really, really good performances. And Aaron Ramsdale, even though he's not a bad keeper, isn't at the same standard as Dean Henderson, not by a long stretch. So for me, I think Dean Henderson was a big loss for them, although he was always going to leave, really, to play for Manchester United. He always said that was his dream, so eventually it was going to happen. But we'll see whether it was at the right time or not. We'll see. Raymond says, with all our problems we have with our defence, Ole never drops Mcguire. What's up with that? True. Obviously, Mcguire's the captain. I do sympathise with Ole in that way, the fact that because Mcguire is the captain, it's very, very difficult to drop him. But at the same time, it's a dangerous precedent, I think, to set when you're saying that certain players can't be dropped just because they've got a certain status in the team. If a player's not playing well, they should be dropped. End of story. And if you have that throughout the team, then I think you create a team which has a lot more competition and is a lot more aware about the fact that they could be dropped any minute. So I think Solskjaer might have that wrong. But I think the reason why Solskjaer likes to stick with Harry Maguire is probably because he's the captain. United basis, who do you think will start, Shaw or Telles? Good question. I think going on to Manchester United now, I feel like probably Luke Shaw will start. I think even though Luke Shaw played against... Who we played last? I think we played Man City last, of course. I think obviously Luke Shaw played against Man City, but did pick up a little bit of a knock, and there was a suggestion that Telles might come on, but obviously Shaw carried on to the end. I do think Shaw will start if he's fit. I think Solskjaer does like Shaw, especially more defensively. I think Shaw is a bit more solid defensively than Telles is. Telles is better going forward, in my opinion, but realistically... Solskjaer does like to go with someone who can do their jobs defensively. But in this game, we shouldn't have too much problems, really. They don't have that many players that are going to cause us problems down the wing. So I would love to see Alex Telles play, especially in a game where we will get a lot of chances. To have someone who can have that sort of set-piece delivery, I think is really, really important. So I'd love to see Telles play. Although if I had to predict United base, I would go for Luke Shaw. But let me know your thoughts. Who do you think will start, Telles or Luke Shaw? Adam Talks Sports. Adam, mate, thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it as always. He says, bro, what we need to do what Washington did in the NFL last season. We were the worst defensive team. We bought a defensive person, and now we are first in the entire NFL defense. Well, listen, obviously, some people say that, when we were quite poor defensively, we brought in Harry Maguire, we brought in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and now, a year down the line, we're no different to where we were before we brought in those players. And I'm not suggesting that they haven't improved our defence, because I do think Aaron Wan-Bissaka has improved our defence. He's better than playing Ashley Young, that's for sure. But, it's funny how even though we do keep bringing in these signings, we still end up in a position where, we need another centre-back, we need another defender. It's very interesting that we always seem to find ourselves back in these sort of positions. So... I don't know whether spending money is the answer, whether a different shape is the answer, whether bringing in a defensive coach is the answer, as you suggested, like that person in the NFL did. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but ultimately, I think we will spend money. I think that will be the answer in the end. I think Upamecano will come to Manchester United. I can just feel it. I don't know why. I can just feel that Upamecano will join Manchester United. I'm looking forward to it. I really, really hope that he does. His release clause is only about 45 million pounds. We should be all over that. If we're not all over that, there is something wrong with this board. And we know already. We know already there's something wrong with this board. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't go for that deal. But we have to go for these sort of deals. It's staring us in the face. The Thomas Partey deal was staring us in the face, and we turned a blind eye to it. You've got to go for those sort of deals. You've got to. Matthew says, back Ollie to the bitter end. I love that. I probably agree with you right now. I think a lot of people are disagreeing with you right now, but I'm in the camp where I do back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Although I do think we shouldn't, say he's exempt from criticism, because he's not. He's not exempt from criticism. But for me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer right now, in the league, you can't really argue too much with where we are. We've got that game in hand. If we win the game tomorrow, we climb up the league, and we're really starting to look like potentially, if we get a bit of a run of consistency together, we could do well. Although, as Sean said, it's like a girlfriend that keeps letting you down. Why do we keep going back to it if we're not going to see the consistency? Who knows? United bases thoughts on Brandon Williams and Daniel James to be loaned out in January. I've heard this. I have definitely heard this. And you know what? If they're not going to get the game time here, why not? Why not? Honestly, I don't think it would be the worst investment in the world or the worst move in the world to let them get game time, because I do believe that both those players have got futures at Manchester United. I think Daniel James, even though he struggled in the last most of his time at Manchester United, I do still think he's got a future. He's got some potential there, and as well as Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams, has shown last season that he could do a job at fullback, and also what he showed was he wasn't the finished article, not by a long shot. And he's only 19, 20 years old. Sorry, I got an itchy nose, guys. Not for that reason. But yeah, he's 19 or 20 years old. He's still so young and so early in his development. So for me, Brandon Williams has got a long future ahead of him. So maybe more game time will help him out, and I'm sure more game time will help him out. But we'll see where he goes, what will happen with those two. I think Dan James has been linked to Leeds, and I think Leeds was the club that he was going to go to before that deal kind of broke down. He came to Manchester United, so maybe loaning him to Leeds wouldn't be the worst thing. Premier League experience as well, and working under Marcelo Bielsa, who is a very, very good coach tactically. So hopefully he'd be able to improve. And as well as Brandon Williams, I think a loan move for him as well would be better for him, especially if he's not going to get any play time. There's no way. There's no reason to keep him. Adam says, Kieran, it's weird seeing you without a beard. You look like an 8-year. You look like you're in year 8. Yeah, I know. I do look younger. I'm not sure what I prefer really, the kind of smooth shaven look or the beard. To be honest with you, I feel like the beard's alright, but you have to keep kind of shaving it. You have to keep grooming it and stuff. And I feel like the beard that grows is quite patchy. I know you can't really see it too well from the camera when I have it, but it's a lot patchier than it actually looks. When it's on the camera. So I feel like, in real life, it doesn't look as good as it maybe does through the webcam. So that's probably the reason why I've got rid of it. And also it's just kind of less, it's more comfortable to be clean shaven in my opinion, because you're not constantly fiddling about with your facial hair on your face. So for me, I go with this, but I agree with you. I look at myself, I do kind of look a little bit, like I should be, having double maths period 5 and 6, you know what I mean? Thank you, Matthew. Yes, I was roasted. That's a great observation there. Raymond says the board do not sack Ollie despite not winning any major trophies. Means they don't care about trophies. Then why do they sack Mourinho if they don't care about trophies? Well, it's true. Obviously, the Mourinho situation was a little bit deeper than the results, in my opinion. I think as well with the Mourinho situation, he kind of lost the dressing room. So I think that was also a big decision in sacking him. And also, I think what he was saying in press conferences and stuff like that, you could kind of tell that the relationship had broken down between him and Ed Woodward. So I don't think that was ever going to go on for long. So I think in terms of the Mourinho sacking, I feel like it was a little bit deeper than just results, but the results were poor as well. There's no denying that. But yeah, I think it's true that obviously this club is built on trophies, it's built on success. And Ollie, obviously, if we don't win a trophy this season, it'll be like the 3rd or 4th season without a trophy. The last time I think we won a trophy was in Mourinho's first season. So it's been a while. But maybe the fact that Ollie has got to semi-finals and got to no finals yet, but got to semi-finals. Maybe they see the promise there. And obviously, when Ollie first came in, the board were very clear in saying that actually this time we're going to try and really back this project long term. And I don't think we've really heard them say that about any of the other managers that have come in since Sir Alex Ferguson. So I think maybe, this is different. Maybe they see Solskjaer as a long-term project and they're happy to kind of ride out the waves of poor form, which a lot of United fans aren't. A lot of United fans want immediate success, and I understand that. But at the same time, as for me, as long as you can see signs of improvement and signs that we're getting nearer to winning a trophy, then I think we should keep him. But until you can't see those signs anymore, then there's no point in keeping him. Like, if there's no progression signs, then there's no point in having him at the club. Adam says, start Axel and Donnie, probably won't. I would love to see both those players start. Axel to Nzabi, I don't understand why he hasn't had more of a role in recent games, unless he's been injured or something, but I don't think he has. He should be playing at centre-back instead of Lindelof, or instead of someone like Victor Lindelof. Harry Maguire, if he wants to keep Harry Maguire in the team, in my opinion, I'm not too adverse to that, because obviously he's the captain and he's always going to be in the team. Fair enough. But the idea that Victor Lindelof is our second best centre-back at the club, when you've got Nzabi, when you've got Eric Bailly in the team, I don't understand why either of those players aren't picked to play next to Harry Maguire. We saw when we had that run of games when Eric Bailly came back from injury, Eric Bailly sat next to Harry Maguire and we kept 5 clean sheets in a row. 5 clean sheets in a row. When was the last time that happened? So I don't understand. I feel like that's the one frustrating thing for me with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is sometimes you feel like he's not seeing the patterns that we're seeing. Sometimes you feel like we're watching the games and we're almost watching a different game to what he's watching. And that is the most frustrating thing, really, where you feel like it's such an obvious problem and there's such an obvious fix to that problem, but the guy who's actually in charge can't see it. It's like when you're in an escape room and you're watching from the outside and you can see what they need to do and they're so close, but they just don't see it, and it's so obvious. It's kind of the same thing like that. And yeah, Donnie Van Der Beek for me, why he hasn't been starting in other games as well, I don't understand that either. But we've been through this a million times with Donnie Van Der Beek. Hopefully Solskjaer does start to give Donnie the respect that he deserves, because I don't think Donnie Van Der Beek has had a poor performance in a Man United shirt, bar potentially that first half against West Ham. But realistically, everyone played badly in that first half against West Ham. Pogba played badly. Obviously, in the second half, things started to pick up. But, Pogba played badly. McTominay played badly. Our forwards played badly. So, just to pick out Donnie Van Der Beek in that game and say, oh, we had a poor performance, so I can't trust him, it's ridiculous, especially when you look at the other players in our team and how poor they can be on occasions. But yeah, Donnie Van Der Beek for me, if he starts in this game, I think we win, because he can control that midfield so well. And he's so composed with the ball that if Sheffield do try and press, I don't believe they have the quality of players to do a high quality press. So if you have someone like Van Der Beek in there, he can just negate the press, keep rotating the ball in midfield, and it'll be very, very difficult for Sheffield, and they'll keep them running about, hopefully tire them out, and that is when we strike. So Donnie Van Der Beek for me needs to play in this game. TTX, thanks for joining. Says Sheffield are bottom of the league, should beat them, no excuses. But how many times do we lose to teams that we should easily beat? 100% TTX. I could not agree with you more. A lot of times is the answer to that question. A lot of times. But this is the thing. Every time we get presented with an opportunity to gain points on teams that have dropped points earlier in the day, and we play the second, we play after them, we always mess up. Last season, so many times we did. The season before actually was the biggest one, where we were in a kind of top 4 race with us, Chelsea, and I think maybe Arsenal were in there as well. And we all kept dropping points. Every week we were dropping points constantly against shite opposition. And it's so frustrating. And it seems to be a kind of an epidemic, if you will, topical, at Manchester United, where we always seem to drop points when it matters. And in the big games where we're kind of nowhere near top of the league or nowhere near closing points, we can turn up then, we can beat those teams, but when it actually matters, we always fail to get the job done. The one time that we saw we could get the job done was when we needed to beat Leicester, and to be honest with you, I was almost surprised at how we did that, because I really thought that was the game that we were going to slip up on, especially with the form going into that game being so poor. So maybe it's different. Hopefully it is different. Hopefully we can go into the Sheffield game, get the job done professionally, and get out of there with 3 points. But you just know it's not going to be as easy as that. It says we're second half FC, 100%. And I think, I think Gary Neville made a really interesting point after the game against the Manchester Derby on Sky. He said, you can't win titles with those sort of performances. You can't win titles based on performances where you play really badly in the first half, concede 1 or 2 goals, and then come back. Because as it proved against Leipzig, we played pretty well the same as we did against Southampton, where in the first half we played poorly. Leipzig took advantage of our really lackluster defending, scored 2 goals, and then they obviously got the 3rd goal as well. And obviously in the Southampton game, we were lucky enough that they didn't score that 3rd goal. But you can't keep going behind and then coming back, because there will be games like the Leipzig game where the team really capitalises and really cashes in on your poor performance and goes 3-4-0 up. And realistically, how many times can you come back from 3 or 4-0? Man United were very, very close to doing it. Obviously, if that own goal went in, we'd still be in the Champions League. But you can't rely on those sort of things. If you really want to go for the titles and the trophies, you have to dominate games throughout. You have to put in professional performances, not just for a half, but for 90 minutes. And you've got to prove that you can win it. And realistically, right now, do we have the team? Do we have the management to do that? I'm not too sure. Adam says, what do you think of Bilic being sacked? I mean, I don't understand it, to be honest. After getting a 1-1 draw at the Etihad, to sack your manager, that is gutsy. It's that's all I give. I'll give them that. It's definitely gutsy from them to sack their manager. But I just don't understand it personally. But it's a big call. It's a massive, massive call this early in the season to sack your manager after that sort of result. And I think Slaven Bilic is a decent manager. He's someone who has been able to keep teams in the Premier League. He's someone who knows how to get results against the big teams. I don't really understand it, but they've made the decision, and it's a massive one. If they get it wrong, they're going to get a lot of stick, and rightly so. But for me, Slaven Bilic is a very, very good manager, and I don't think he deserved to be sacked. I really, really don't. I think really he was unlucky to not win against us at Old Trafford. And maybe if he got that result, he'd probably still be in a job. But alas, it is what it is. United base says Lingard to play against Sheffield United maybe. I'd sub him on around 70th minute. Yeah, obviously Lingard looks like he might be going out in January. And yeah, I mean, Lingard has done a decent service for us, I'd say. Obviously, realistically, he's not, the best player in our team, and I feel like it is probably the right time for him to move on. But I actually think what he's done for the team, at least he cared. At least he, gave us all for the badge. Obviously, as people say, we're not a charity, and those sort of players who aren't good enough do need to go in the end. But fair play to him, and if he does come on against Sheffield, hopefully he bags a goal, a little farewell goal for him. But to be fair, he always turns up in the Christmas period, so maybe he could be our little secret weapon. Who knows? Matthew says it's not gutsy. No, he says it's not gutsy. It's cowardly gutsy. No, oh no, sorry. The lack of punctuation made me read that wrong. He says it's not gutsy. It's cowardly. Gutsy would be staying with a top-class manager like Bilic. Yeah. K-Side, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. He says, what's up? He says, 4-4-3 simple. Yeah, I'll go back to that comment, actually. I'm not going to leave it like that. Well, in the end of the day, it's gutsy both ways, because if you sack your manager, you're taking a big risk on the new manager coming in. But at the same time, the fact that you jump ship so early is a little bit cowardly. So I'll give you that. I'll give you a 50-50 on that one. But 4-3-3, K-Side says, I watched Solskjaer's press conference, or at least I watched someone break down Solskjaer's press conference, and basically the gist of what Solskjaer said was that the usual formation we play is a 4-2-3-1. So I don't think we're going to go with a 4-3-3. And a lot of people I've been on streams with and been on different shows with have argued that Solskjaer sold us a dream when he first took over the job of the attacking 4-3-3 football. And as soon as he got the job, he went back and kind of went more conservative. And to be fair, when you look at the formations that he's putting out, that's actually quite accurate. And it's unfortunate because I feel like we were playing some really attractive football with that 4-3-3. And I feel like with the midfielders we've got now, with the forward players we've got now, I don't see why we can't play that sort of formation. But obviously Ole and the management staff have a different plan, have different ideas. But I think he will go with a 4-2-3-1. I think he will go with a diamond tomorrow, to be honest, especially the fact we're playing a team like Sheffield who really shouldn't offer too much going forward. But we'll see. Adam says, I have to go to get to school at 8:15 tomorrow. Oh, man, that sucks. That sucks for you, Adam. That sucks for you. But, yeah, I mean, listen, thanks for watching anyway. I'm sure it's not your bedtime now. I mean, maybe it is. Right, I think we're back. Live. Back live. So hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully we're all back. I think my camera's a little bit out of focus and stuff, so I'll try and see what we can do with that. Not a lot is the answer, but we'll leave it at that. But hopefully we're back. I think we're back. Well, I did just change the settings on my microphone. But keep getting your thoughts. I can see a few people have stayed with us, so thank you very much for staying with us. If you have stayed with us. But yeah, keep getting your comments in, and I just kind of changed this about my not Bluetooth, Crony. I need to change the levels on my mic because I saw they're a little bit low. Where is it? One. Right. Right, there we go. That should be louder now. Right, okay, we're back. TTX says, I can't wait for another Arsenal loss today against a very good Southampton side. Southampton, as you mentioned there, took the words right out of my mouth. Southampton are a very, very good side. No doubt about it. And Arsenal against Burnley, who are shocking. I mean, Burnley are terrible. Out of that loss going into this game. It doesn't matter they're at their Emirates because they're crap either way. So for me, one of the worst teams you could be facing right now. They're on high form, and if they actually win this game to Arsenal, it's a big win for them. For them, a relegation side to beat, a side going is a pretty good achievement if they do beat them. So and it'll be a big one for them as well because they need to get back on form. Hopefully they don't. But we'll see tonight, won't we? K-Side says Kieran Harrier needs to go to school for his defending. I need to go to school full stop, to be honest with you, because they are thick as pig shit. But at the same time, Harry Mcguire, could do with a bit of fine tuning, but actually against Man City, I don't think he was too bad. But the one thing that's frustrating about Harry Mcguire is the fact that he's intermittent, is the fact that he doesn't, kind of perform at a consistent basis. That is one of the most annoying things. Anyone on? We might have a few guests on. I'm not sure, to be honest. If the internet is as bad as it is, then I might just leave it, to be honest. But we'll see what happens. We might just leave it. Harry, thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. Sorry you can't see your profile picture on the screen. I don't know what's going on with the internet right now. It's just really poor. It's really poor right now. Joining anyway. Adam says, Kieran, I'm just going to pretend to be sick the night before doing it in the morning. Well, to be honest with you, I don't think they're going to really know whether you were sick the night before, and they tell you. So really, it shouldn't matter too much about that. You pulling a sickie, but if you feel like not going into school, talk to someone. Talk to Frank. K-Side says, I can play tomorrow. I can play tomorrow, and I can play tomorrow, and we'll still win. That is confidence. Says, do you think Pogba will go in January? I don't think anyone's going to pay the money for this with you, mate. I don't think anyone's going to be able to muster up the £100 million that I think Ed Woodward's going to want for Pogba in January. I think in the summer, realistically, it's an 18-month contract. So I think the summer is when he's going to leave, if anywhere. But listen, stranger things have happened. We've seen big moves in January. Coutinho went to Barcelona in January, famously. There have been some big moves in January, so we will see Pogba go as well. Queso says Sheffield United. Who are they? Well, this season they are they're the bottom. Who they are? That is who they are. But it just set up perfectly for them to beat us and then go on another horrible losing streak. But it's a big case that says we're in the title race. I think you could argue that, mate. You could argue that, especially if we win this game against. So that, again, the way the league's shaping up, the way that teams are dropping points. If we do beat Sheffield, you could argue we're definitely in the title race. But guys, I'm going to go into my prediction because I think my internet and stuff are in. So I'm probably going to wrap it up. I feel like it's just the universe telling me that I've been going on for too long. So I'm going to give my predictions. So if you're watching right now, let me know your predictions in the live chat. I'll read them. Even if my face keeps buffering and stuff, I do apologise. But if you can hear me, make sure you let me know your predictions in the live chat right now. To be honest, is going to be difficult. I think Sheffield are going to be really up for it. Chris Wilder is going to tell his players that, if you want to survive this season, you've got to be with me 100%. He's going to give some sort of, rousing, Rocky style speech, and they're going to start running around in the comments. I think it's going to be difficult for us, but I think we'll have enough quality. And if we just fuck around, we show up on the day, we get the job done, we'll be fine. We'll get the job done. But I think the win. I'll predict a 2-0 victory to Manchester United. I don't see Sheffield United scoring, but I do think they're going to cause us a lot of problems. Skulls 101, hey, thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Sorry we can't see your profile picture on the screen there. It's not loading, unfortunately. United to win 2-1 in the 88th minute. I hope you're wrong. But I wouldn't be right, to be honest with you. Raymond goes for the 2-1 United win. Pretty safe prediction. Cause problems. They're not a team to be underestimated. They really aren't a team to be underestimated. Especially since they're in this poor run to lose. If they lose to us, realistically, that's not going to change where they are. It's not as if they lose to us, they're going to go plummeting down the table. They're at the foot of the table. They cannot move anywhere. So even if they lose to us, they're going to go for it. They're going to absolutely go for it. Kieran says, can you read my comment? Alright, he says, Kieran, be honest, have you pulled a sickie? I've never pulled a sickie in my life, mate. Trust me, I would never do that sort of thing. Never. He says, can we do a collab? Yeah, message me, mate. Message me later if you want. And I'll we'll iron out the young people say. Kesar says, I need to do my show, but I must say we need to attack. Well, if we go to the bottom of the bus, then I think even I'll be Ollie out, to be honest. If you go to Sheffield United, park the bus, you are in trouble. I mean, that would be the end of Manchester United. It really, really would. But you know what? Ollie's the kind of guy who as we always say. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there because I think it is a little bit laggy. He's still a little bit best to leave it and call it a day. The internet has won. The internet has beat us. This is alright by the time we next stream. But thanks for watching, guys. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you very much for 13 likes. Really do appreciate it as always. If you've got this far, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're on, and we'll see you guys in the next